Jim with Home Spark Knife Sharpening. Have a few knives to sharpen today. These are actually, as you can see from the title, these are from a butcher's shop, and they come every couple of months or so to have their knives sharpened up. So we have done these before, and they usually go pretty quick. You can see this is one of the reasons why they're coming to me. This is from their last sharpener. Just really scuff these up. And we've got them with a nice bevel and a sharp edge, but they were kind of messing up some of their knives. So they came to me. I sharpened a bunch up. They were happy with them. So now we are doing them. So we're going to start with our 407 to 120 grit belt. And they really do kind of beat up their knives. So it does take a little bit to get them back into shape. See, we're not even getting a burr on this yet. And most of the wear I can see from where the burr is showing up is right in this middle section. Looks like I'm still not getting a burr. Right in this middle section right here. Okay, I think that will work. See, here's another one. You can see what the last guy did to this. I don't know if he was trying to do with a Dremel tool or what he was doing. They really got these knives dulled down since the last time I did them. Wow. I think I'm starting to lose my belt here. And I've got some new ones on order that I'm waiting to come in. Otherwise, I would change this belt out right now. In fact, I might have to go over to my yeah, I think that belt's had it. So I think we're going to have to maybe go over and do some of this on the work sharp, since I still have awesome belts on the work sharp. See if that's going to make a difference. I think that belt's about had it. Well, now I did it. Got this belt twisted in here. How the heck did that happen? Okay. Okay. Let's see. How much better this works. And these knives are really dulled down. So I'm seeing a really good burr right across here. I'm getting like nothing here. Almost there. There we go. That time I saw the burr all the way across. Okay, so now we're in good shape. Hi, Douglas. Dim. No, there might be a little bit. Are you talking about on this? Or were you talking about on the buck tool? There we go. Now we're running all the way across. Things at the butcher shop, I have a feeling they probably do a lot of chopping, and it's really dulling down the center section of the blade. Every one of these knives is the same way. I don't know if I get this where you guys can see the burr, but the burr is missing, like right here. There we go, that looks pretty good. Okay. Yep, now we're getting a little bit. And on this one, it's right near the back of the blade. I think once more. Yep. Now we're looking good. A little water on there. Blade was getting a little warm to the touch. Pretty amazing. I'm going to have to ask him if he has more knives than what he's bringing me, and if maybe these have not been sharpened. I need to do it. These are taking a lot of going at it with this coarse felt. You get it. Hey Jamar, how you doing? Usually once I sharpen a knife and they bring them back, they usually sharpen up pretty quick. Now, being it's a butcher shop, I can only imagine that these are probably used like all day, every day. So it could just be that they use them that much. And they finally get to a point where they're just not cutting. And that's when they're bringing them to me. It's kind of rare that I have to grind this much on a knife. Hearing a bunch of extraneous noise. It's garbage day here. So all the garbage trucks are going by. There we go. Now that one was a little easier. Okay, a couple more, and then we can start refining things. Okay. Hey David, how you doing? So appreciate you guys watching. We're just the reason I went to the workshop, if you weren't watching from the beginning, was because the I thought that my belt on my buck tool was actually getting worn, and apparently I don't think that was the case, because this was a almost new belt that I used on this. I'm still doing a lot of grinding on these knives, so I think the knives were just actually that dull. But we'll go ahead and finish up on the Ken onions, and that's what we've done them all on now. And usually that's about all it takes, is one pass. So we refine these down. I'm still seeing a lot of burr on this one, but that's okay. I know we're sharp. We'll get the burr off in a minute. Yeah, I'm thinking too. But these are they're Victorinox. At least these are. So I'm thinking they were just that dull. Because Victorinox generally, I don't have that hard of a time. They usually sharpen up really easy. So I'm thinking they just beat them up that bad. Okay, now I'll move down to our wheels and finish these up. I did grind quite a bit on this because I got a lot of dust. So get rid of a little bit of that. Whew, it's already getting hot out here. Tell you what's really amazing is everything smells like it's burning out here, like a forest fire. And that's because even down here outside Chicago, we are getting a whole bunch of smoke from the Canadian fires. When my leather wheel starts turning all black and gets too much compound on it, it doesn't seem to do quite as good as a job. So this is just some cheapy sandpaper belt. You see how much cleaner that looks. A little compound on there again. And should be ready to go. So I just run them across the Scotch-Brite. And then we go to leather wheel just for the final polish on that edge. Feels good. Okay. Guys are certainly, oops. See, I can see all that burr on there. Guys, certainly would appreciate it if you hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see some more sharpening stuff that we do. We do mostly knives, but occasionally we do garden tools, lawnmower blades. And we try to show all that on the channel too. And occasionally we get just some unusual things. I've sharpened a couple of blades for food processors and things like that. So if you hit that like button, subscribe, it certainly helps out the channel. We appreciate it. You can kind of see how much stuff we actually take off the blade. You see how dark this is already getting since I just cleaned it. But I probably clean it about every maybe 50 or 60 or 70 knives. Something like that. I can kind of tell when it's getting to the point where it's just not quite taking the burr off and honing that edge like I want it to. And I feel like when I clean it with the sandpaper, it kind of fluffs up that leather a little bit. It tends to smooth it out so that it does a better job on the edge. We have certainly got the humidity today, I'll tell you. Because it's, I got the fan blowing directly on me over here. And I am still sweating up a storm. So I don't know that doing much paper cutting is going to work. So when that paper gets damp, it just really doesn't give you a good idea of your sharpness. Okay, last knife. Okay. Let's move back over here. And we'll do some cleaning. We just use isopropyl alcohol. Clean the blades up, and as I said, these are from a butcher, so they've been well used and abused. And some other sharpener really kind of messed up some of the edges on these. So my main focus when I clean these is I want to make sure that I've got, it almost looks like a little bit of burr on there. See if that's actually burr. Yep, there's a little bit of burr left on that one. That's why it's nice to have a lot of light, because you can catch stuff like that before you send them out the door. You can see how bad some of these were done. I think this was done with like a Dremel tool. That's what that looks like. Okay. A lot of times somebody says, "Oh, I can sharpen those up." They really don't have any idea what they're doing. And there's a lot of ways you can sharpen knives. Some guys use like a Tormek, which is a round stone or wheel. You could use flat stones, but that would take you forever, especially on knives that were this dull. And then there's belt sharpening, which is what we do. It works really well. So you'll see several different kinds of sharpening out there. Sorry I'm bumping the camera on you guys. Trying to get a good view for you. Consequently, camera kind of gets in my way sometimes. So yeah, so these all look like they came out really well. I am definitely happy with these. So I've got to go in, and I just realized I'm starting to get a little low on my knife sheaths. So I'm gonna have to order some more knife sheaths before I run out of those. And I've got the new belts coming in. You always got to try to keep track of that stuff so you don't run out. I need business cards too. You have to order more business cards. It's always all that little stuff that a lot of times you just don't realize it until it's too late, and then you're like, oh no. So try to do my best. Every now and then I'll run really short or sometimes run out of something, but try to do my best to not run out of things. Okay, so those are all cleaned up. I am not going to make any guarantees with this, guys, but we will try. I'm sure they're all sharp, but I'm going to try one just for you guys. See how it cuts. There you go. Okay. So, and that's how they should be. So the only last thing to do is to throw these all into the sheaths. So even though they don't, they just bring them in a big box. But I always like putting them in a sheath. Looks a little more professional when you return them. And a lot of times for the shorter knives, I will cut these sheaths like in half or whatever. But for the most part, all of their knives are like over that 6 or 7 inch mark. Even these, see when I put it in there, it's really not worth cutting off that little bit. So I just go ahead and use a full sheath on these. And when I can, I like putting these into where the handles part way in, like this, because it really holds the sheath onto the knife blade. if you just put it in this far, it's very loose. So I tend to get it like this. That way it holds it. Okay, guys. So that's it. So there's all the knives. We're all done. And we are all done. Now I'm going to go get some air conditioning in the house and cool off, because even with that fan on, it's hot out here. So appreciate you guys watching. Hit that like and subscribe. Be appreciated. Helps our little channel out. Gets more people to see it on YouTube. And hope you're all staying cool. And depending on where you're at, I hope you're staying out of all the smoke. Because we are getting a lot of it from Canada. Even down here in Chicago, everything smells like it's on fire. So anyway, you guys have a great day. Stay cool. And we will see you in the next one.